Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for coming up. We're going to introduce ourselves and we'll get started. I'm Divi. Hi, everybody.
And I'm Brian. Nice to meet you all. Very, very happy to have you here in this container.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Finland. It's really nice to meet you. I'm really excited about today.
All right.
So Brian, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I'm going to start us all off. We're going to jump into a bit of breath work just to get us grounded, to get us centered, to help us let go of whatever energies we're bringing into the container so we can just be fully present. And the type of breath work I'll lead is very, very simple. It's called conscious connected breathing. All you're going to have to do is breathe in and out of your mouth. It's a nice deep breath through your mouth, down into your belly, up into your chest. And on the exhale, just let the exhale happen. Let it be effortless and easy. I'll give you a quick little demo here just so you can see what that looks like. So it's just like so. So the conscious part is you're just consciously aware of your breathing, what it feels like to move the air in and out of your lungs. The connected portion is you're just connecting those inhales and exhales over and over, trying to have no pause between the inhales and exhales. And we'll just do a couple rounds, and in between the rounds, I'll offer an invitation for a retention. And yeah, so it's very, very simple. Does anyone have any questions about it before we jump in? I think it should make sense, everyone. Nice. Awesome. Alrighty. Mute everyone here. Beautiful. So just find yourself in a comfortable seat. You can close your eyes. Try to have an erect spine if you can. Let's start off just by releasing a little bit of energy by doing a couple of sighs. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath all the way up. Then a big exhale, make a sound. Really nice. Just feel that weight drop. Nice deep breath in. Big exhale, make a sound. Really good. Let's do that one more time. This time, fill yourself up all the way. Hold the breath at the top. Feel that sensation of fullness. Just hold it. Feel that life force in your body for 3, 2, 1, and then exhale, let it go. Just let it drop. Beautiful. Keep your eyes closed. Now, for a moment before we start the breathing, just bringing your awareness into your body, doing your absolute best just to stay in that seat of awareness, whatever your body feels like, just receiving those sensations. And instead of trying to change anything with your mind, just allowing the breath to do that work for you, as the breath is a alchemical transformational machine. So with that in mind, let's just stay present with our body, how we feel. And invite you now to take a nice deep breath in through your mouth. Exhale, let it go. Let's breathe together. Inhale. Relax. Deep breath in. Exhale. Full breath. Relax. Deep breath in. Letting go. Fully in. And relax. Deep breath. Relax. Good. Now just keep that rhythm of breath going. Keep the inhales and the exhales connected. And remember, try to make your inhale to be a full inhale, filling up your belly and your chest. On the exhale, just letting it happen, letting it be effortless and easy. And as you move through these breaths, finding a nice balance between effort and ease. Just noticing the physical sensations of your breathing for this first minute or so. Noticing the abdomen and the chest expand, the falling of the abdomen and chest, and coming into awareness of the wave that is created as you breathe. Very good. Continuing to breathe just as you are, continuing to feel. It's good to know that the body has a natural mechanism for relaxation. As you continue to breathe here and now, that mechanism is already starting to be activated. As you bring in more oxygen to your tissues, letting go of a bit more CO2, And as that shift occurs, you may start to feel some sensations in your body, some tingling, some lightheadedness, maybe a vibration through the body. Know that it is safe to feel these feelings, to allow this harmonization of the body to occur through the moving of the breath. Beautiful. Final few breaths here before our first retention. If you'd like to make the next few breaths a little bit deeper or bolder, feel free to do so now. Very nice. I invite you now to finish your next breath. Exhale out, let it go. Then take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax, and then hold your breath after the exhale. So holding your breath with your lungs gently empty, we're just going to hold it for a few moments here. It's safe to hold your breath. You've brought in a lot of oxygen. Just see if you can relax and focus on your body as you hold your breath. Notice what you feel in this moment of stillness. And then soon we'll breathe again. In 3, in 2, in 1. Take a nice deep breath in all the way up. Hold your breath at the top. Again, feel that life force, that charge that's created when you hold your breath. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1. Big exhale, let it go. Beautiful. Keep your eyes closed. We're going to do one more round. When we go into the second round, what I invite you to do is focus on intention. How do you want to show up during this call? What do you want to embody? What kind of energy? Just breathe that in for these next few moments. So I invite you to take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax. Let's breathe together. Inhale. Relax. Deep breath. Exhale. Fully in. Letting go. Deep breath in. Let it relax. Full breath in. And letting it go. And now you know what to do. Keep the breath moving now. Keep it turning. Keep it swirling. Just like you did before, connecting those inhales and exhales. Creating a nice wheel of breath, a circle of life that just moves on and on. And again, just bringing awareness to some of the sensations you may be feeling, that tingling, the shifts in body temperature. Remember, it's safe to feel these feelings. This is your body acclimatizing to more oxygen, to more energy, to more presence and awareness. And you can invite in a sense of empowerment, knowing that you're making these changes happen on purpose through the simple practice of your breathing. Continuing to breathe. We have about 30 more seconds here. You're doing amazing. Keep it going. Continuing to feel, continuing to relax. You're doing amazing. All right. Finishing the next breath. Exhale out, let it go. Then take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax, let it go. And then again, hold your breath after the exhale. And as you hold your breath, just relax. Again, imagine the energy from your mind is moving down into your heart, into your abdomen, bringing a deep presence into the body as you find stillness and hold your breath. Taking this pause just to be, to center yourself. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. And then we'll breathe again in 3, in 2, in 1. Take a nice deep breath in, fill yourself up, holding the breath at the top. And then hold that charge. Feel your power, feel your centeredness in this moment for 3, for 2, for 1. Big exhale, let it go. Amazing. Just keep your eyes closed. Before you open them, take a moment to notice the shift in your body. Come into recognition of the energy you're able to cultivate through this breath. And again, just taking a moment to tune into your intention. How is it that you want to show up for this container, this session? What do you want to embody? What do you want to bring forward? Understanding deeply that what matters to you truly matters, that your intention is a powerful force. So breathe into that for a moment. Imagine as though it is coming alive into you now, feeling a sense of gratitude that that intention can already be here, dissolving that illusion of separation between right here and what you intend to do. So dissolving that with gratitude. Beautiful. And let's end this by sharing one deep breath. I invite you to take a nice deep breath in as you feel your intention. And as you exhale, just release the intention, let it go to the universe. Absolutely amazing, everyone. When you feel ready, you can gently open your beautiful eyes. Thank you so much for everyone for joining in on the breath work. Really nice energy felt from you all. Alrighty, how's everyone feeling? Maybe give me a thumbs up. Hopefully you're feeling a little more centered, a little more in your body. Awesome. So we are going to move on here to Matthew. He's going to give us some amazing information on codependency. So you may want to have your pen and paper up for this portion, but I'll let you take it off, Matt.
Thank you so much, Brian. Wow, did I need that today? Holy moly, that felt super good. Thank you, Brian. You get me every time. So everyone, welcome to the first part of our 3-part webinar series. It's so nice to see everybody here, such a diverse and amazing looking group of people. Well, the part that I bring forward out of our, I would say, very unique combination of myself, Brian, and Divi is more of a, what did we call it? Oh, a clinical approach is what we called it. So I'm going to be bringing forward information, awareness practices. I don't like to say the word statistics, but I'm going to say the word statistics. I'm going to be bringing forward really tangible facts for us to all grasp and hang on to. And for my portion today, I'm going to be talking about symbiosis versus codependency. And so I'll be dropping some things later. For right now, you don't need to be scribbling down notes. Otherwise, you're going to be trying to keep up with me and it'll be crazy. I'll give you some prompts later. But what I want to bring forward here is, we're all here to talk about codependency. And this is something that we've all either gone through or are going through. And that's totally normal. It's totally okay. It's part of our human experience. But there is a difference between a symbiotic relationship and a codependency relationship. I think there's a beautiful thing with relationships where we can lean on the other for certain things. I believe that it's a absolutely fundamental aspect of what a relationship is. What makes it codependent versus symbiotic fundamentally is that a symbiotic relationship is what could be described as synergistic. And synergistic is where 2 + 2 = 100. It's where the sum of the collective is larger than what they actually are together. A healthy symbiotic relationship involves a mutually beneficial relationship between two individuals where both parties contribute and receive in equal measures. The relationship is built on respect, trust, a balance of power, where each person's needs are acknowledged and respected. On the other hand, a toxic codependent relationship is an unhealthy, unbalanced, and often destructive dynamic between two individuals. And in this type of relationship, one person may become overly reliant on the other for their emotional, social, and even financial needs. This can lead to feelings of resentment, feelings of guilt, anxiety, and may even result in physical and/or emotional abuse. So what I'm going to be laying out for everybody today is I'm going to be laying out 10 signs that you may be in a codependent relationship, or that you were in the past, which is likely going to be everybody. And so that's a big part about this is we are all in this together. We've all gone through these things. So release the fear, release the shame, release the guilt. You don't know what you don't know. And these awareness practices, that's just what it is. It's an awareness practice. It's so if you're involved in something with a relationship with somebody and you find yourself going down one of these rabbit holes or one of these holes, you'd be like, oh, I'm exhibiting this behavior right now. This is a toxic codependent behavior. So this is just for awareness. Okay, does that sound good? Everybody give a thumbs up? Okay, everyone understand? Awesome. I heard a yep, right on. Okay, so the first sign that you may be in a codependent relationship, and I'll give you the journal prompt. I'm going to say a whole bunch of like sub points underneath this. I can see Sarah's ready to rock. The first sign that you're in a toxic codependent relationship is abandonment of self. You neglect your own needs. You have trouble setting boundaries. I'm going to say a whole bunch of sub points now. The only one you need to have is abandonment of self. Anyone here, you can raise your hand, left a relationship and been like, whoa, I don't even know who I am right now. Like when I was in that relationship, I completely gave away all the things I love, all the friends that I loved, and I became what that other person wanted me to do, and I don't even like who I am. Anyone? Yeah, I saw everyone nodding and doing this. Yeah, all the hands. Nice. We're in it together. In a codependent relationship, one partner may give up their own needs because they want to accommodate the others. You may have difficulty setting boundaries with your partner, and this is another one, you may feel guilty when you try to enforce those boundaries. And oftentimes it's because we don't know how to healthily enforce boundaries. So we do it typically when we've reached the point of no return and we're just like, at the people. You find yourself giving up hobbies or interests. You give up who you are. The second sign that you're in a toxic codependent relationship is anxiety. You feel anxious. You feel anxious or uneasy when you're away from your partner, and you may obsessively check your phone or social media for updates. Oh, thanks, Divi. That's super handy. I appreciate that a lot. This third sign is that you fear being alone. You may feel like you can't survive without this person, and you may experience intense anxiety when they're not around. You fear being alone. The fourth sign that you may be in a toxic relationship is you feel responsible for their emotions. You may feel responsible for your partner's unhappiness and well-being and feel guilty when they're upset or unhappy. And there is a difference between like caring about making your person feel good and feeling guilty when they don't. There's a big difference between those. Mm-hmm. The fifth one, and this is a nice trigger point for everybody, is just parent. What does this mean? This means you may realize that you're getting in the exact same arguments as your parents, the exact same ones that traumatized you as a child. You might notice you have actually turned into the exact parent that you didn't even like when you were a child. Anyone? Me for sure. Super duper me. Yeah. That one hit home with someone. I'm not sure they're laughing. Oh, definitely Marina. Sixth one is justification or denial. Stockholm syndrome. Your person is doing terrible things to you, and then you tell your friends, and then when you tell your friends, you defend it. The seventh one is worry. You have a hard time expressing yourself and you feel like you're walking on eggshells. So in a codependent relationship, one partner may suppress their own emotions to avoid conflict. You feel like you're the only one putting effort into the relationship and that your partner takes you for granted. The next one is trapped. You may feel like you're stuck in this relationship even if it's not healthy for you. It's usually a fear of the unknown. You have a hard time imagining the future without your partner. 9, and this one is one of the more subtle ones. This is indecisiveness. So you may feel like you need your partner's approval in making decisions. And it might not even be as approval. You can struggle making choices in general because you're so dependent on that person to make simple decisions. And the final one is validation. You need constant validation from your partner to feel worthy, to feel good, to feel nice. Which is different from words of affirmation from the love languages. There's differences between these. So quickly, and then we'll move on to the symbiosis. In the chat, and of course, open invitation to do this. No, it's not a requirement. What one or two do you find yourself slipping into the most often? Like for me, mine is definitely fear being alone and abandonment of self. Those are the two that I suffer from the most. And we'd love to hear your shares. And thank you so much. We always say that vulnerability is the currency of relationships, and that's what we're doing in this container here today. We're creating a relationship, and so thank you. Worry and validation, abandonment of self, fear of alone as well. Divi, abandonment of self, abandonment of self. Yeah, it's number one for a reason, for sure. Responsible for their emotions, abandonment of self, difficulty setting boundaries, anxiety, worry, abandonment of self. Get a few, Sarah. Tiana, abandonment. Perfect. So the reason that I wanted to bring this to light is because you have awareness of these things, right? You've all expressed your own awareness of this. You've got this list of 10 things right there, and you know what you're doing when you're going into a toxic codependent relationship. And it's not like, oh no, I'm abandoning myself, this relationship's done. It's like, oh, okay, it's time to shift this. And this is a perfect segue into my next part, which is the symbiotic component of relationships. The first one, which is the way to transmute, it's the way to transform, it's the way to change the entire dynamic of your toxic codependent relationship. The first point to recognize when you are in a healthy symbiotic relationship is communication. Big shocker. Both partners communicate openly and honestly with each other, expressing their thoughts and feelings in a respectful and non-judgmental manner. Each partner takes the time to understand and respect the other person's values, belief, culture, and works to create a shared sense of meaning. This is huge, right? You don't necessarily want to be loved the same way that your partner wants to be loved. And it's really important to listen when they tell you, this is what matters me and this is what's triggering me. And you might think to yourself, that's silly. That doesn't even matter. Like that's such a small thing. It's so important to listen to these things because your value systems could be different because your traumas in childhood were. The second one is support. Both partners support each other's goals and aspirations. They don't need to be the same. You support each other. The third one is responsibility and accountability. Both partners take responsibility for their own emotions and their own well-being. These are two people taking accountability for themselves and coming together in symbiosis. Each partner acknowledges and accepts their own mistakes and flaws and works to improve themselves for the sake of the relationship. The fourth one is trust. The relationship is built on a foundation of trust, and each person trusts the other to be faithful, honest, and reliable. The fifth one, and this is a really big one, is respect. Both partners respect the other's boundaries and take steps to ensure it. If your partner comes to you and expresses something that's really bothering them, you respect that. The sixth one, this is probably my favorite one, I don't know why I like it so much, is contribution. Both partners contribute equally in a relationship. And this, I sent this awesome video out earlier today. This doesn't mean like you do the dishes 50% of the time and I do dishes 50% of the time. They can be different contributions, but we contribute equally. The seventh one, I really like this one too, is vulnerability. Both partners feel comfortable being vulnerable with each other, stating their fears, insecurities, and struggles without fear of judgment or rejection. And I can speak vulnerably from myself here. This is a difficult thing for men to do. And if you are in a relationship with a man and he does it, really don't come at him like oh, you're dangerous, or you shouldn't be like that. Like that's the last thing that you ask a guy to open up and he finally does, and then you say, oh my goodness, that's so evil. Well, there you go. Now he goes into his shell and he's never going to do that again. be really mindful of that. We want men to be more vulnerable, and then they do, and then we chastise them for it. 8, connection with loved ones. This one's huge. Each partner takes an active interest in the other's family and friends and works to build positive relationships with the people that are important to them, not just talking smack about their friends. Another thing that happens a lot. 9 is conscious affection. Both partners take time to show affection and appreciation for the other, whether it's through physical touch, verbal compliments, or acts of service. Getting to know your partner and recognize how they like to be loved is not the same as you. Communication, listening to how they want to be loved and treated. And the final one is time management and fun. Time management and fun. Time management can be a big trigger word for people. Alarms are going off, but you're in it's essentially like an agreement. It's an operation. We have to have managed and dedicated times for fun. The relationship is going to be built on a strong foundation of friendship, and both partners enjoy spending time together. Both partners are committed to maintaining a healthy work-life balance, and you're building this and nurturing this together. And so thank you so much, Divi. Super duper helpful with your prompts. The final prompt that I've got for everybody to share today is same thing. Which 2 do you naturally do? Do you naturally excel at? Or do you maybe lead for your half of the balance with your partner? So let's see. Mine are communication, I'm pretty good at. And let's see, probably support. Communication and vulnerability. Respect, time management and fun, communication, conscious affection, communication. Awesome. Communication. Good. Good. Very good. Vulnerability and support, conscious affection. So nice to see. Communication, vulnerability, trust and respect. All of the above, Mara. Let's go. Contribution, trust. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody. We're going to be doing Q&A at the end, and so if you've got questions, please do write them down, and we have some time carved out to answer some questions. That's going to be concluding my section today, literally right on time. Yep. And and I just want to thank everyone so much. It means so much when people contribute and share. It really, really means a lot, and it's so encouraging for me to see people so engaged when I'm really just talking at you for like 20 minutes. So thank you so much, everyone. So much love. I'm really looking forward to the next half here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. So Brian and I and Matt are going to do the next section. I'm going to start leading, and then Brian and Matt will jump in and add stuff. So thank you so much, Matt and Brian. That was awesome. The breath open. That was beautiful. So hi, guys. So I'm going to take you into a process and to deeply identify why. I think Brandon asked either why do we do this codependency? What's the reason? Okay. So let's take a step back for a sec. The 3 of us were chatting. Obviously, we've been working on this workshop for a while, and all 3 of us get so excited in this conversation. I'm a little bit older than either of them, just so y'all know. They don't look it, right? But this is how it works. 0 till about 30 or 35 is years of age. 0 to 5, you're like having fun. 5, you start school, sucks. Then you don't finish school till you're about 18, high school, realistically, unless you quit, right? Then 18 till whatever, you're usually doing some degree of either university or starting your work. Next thing you know, you're pregnant. Or next thing you know, you got a ring on your finger and you just don't know what happened, right? You wake up one day, and this happened to me. I was 28 and I got married, right? And I was like, boom, fell in love with my boyfriend at the time when I was 22, 23. Next thing you know, I was married. 30, I was falling apart. Why? Because typically, you're running through life to get to some end destination. You're not looking at anything. I had never looked at my parents, my emotions. None of us do. So it didn't surprise me that first marriage, I created exactly what Matt said, exactly what my parents did. What we don't understand is all of us, to some degree, are 1 or 2 generations post some sort of war. Okay. So no offense to our parents, but they're not most of us, even as parents, aren't necessarily emotionally equipped to being a parent is really hard. Okay. And, as children, we pick up wounding. It's super normal. And that wounding is what we're always trying to fill. Got it? And today in this next section, Brian and I and Matt are going to lead you into identifying that wound. Got it? So before I go a bit deeper, I want you to go and this next part is a bit of teaching, meditation, journaling. So we're going to jump back and forth between all three. Okay. So I want you to put your hand on your heart and close your eyes for a sec. And think back to your parents, the people who raised you. Your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your uncle, your aunt, maybe your sisters raised you, your brothers raised you. What did you see? Were your parents dependent on their work? Were your parents codependent on each other? Maybe your dad was codependent on alcohol or anger. Maybe your mom was codependent on the church or work or being a mother. All of us experience codependency from our parents. So take a second, breathe, and all of you are getting the answer. I can see it. Write it down in the chat box or write it into your journal, but ideally both. What did you see in your parents in codependency? And just write into the chat box. What did you see? Because you see, when each of you share, light bulbs are going to go off into other people's heads. Oh yeah, my dad was codependent on anger or control. Right? What was your mom codependent on? My parents were codependent on each other. Start typing in, what did you see? My mom was codependent on work and control. Me and you are sisters, bae. Totally. 100%. Control was the middle name. What else? Anger and independence. That's a good one. Dad was codependent on work, mom on control. So good. My dad was codependent on anger and control. He was dependent on alcohol. Mom was codependent on work and control. Mom being a mom. Oh God, Jody. Can I relate to that one? Dad being a hard worker. Dad was codependent on alcohol. Mom was codependent on control, work, and being a mom. I swear our moms should get together. Anger, alcohol, work, and reputation. Oh, that's a good one. Reputation, that's a really good one. Terry wrote, mom was codependent on control, anger, and work. My dad worked from 6 a.m. till past we went to bed. Mom took care of the household. Wowzers. Oh, dad was anger and cigarettes. Mom being mom, super mom at fault. My mom was codependent on work and escapism. Yeah. Dad was always working. I missed that one. Sorry, guys. I'm a bit behind. That's okay. Dad wasn't around. Mom was codependent on validation. Yes. Absent dad, depend on mom's validation. She depended on him. You guys see how this works? This is so common. Mom was codependent on the kids. Oh, so true. And dad's affection, he didn't provide. Mom being a mom, this is a repetitive theme, right? Dad was a hard worker. Both were control. Mom was hyper independent. Dad was codependent on stepmom. So you guys see there's a thread here. Got it? I love this. Dad was dependent on gambling. So I'm not going to read them all just because of time, but this is a good one. This is good. Mom was dependent on me for emotional regulation. How many can see that? Mom was dependent on me. Yeah, totally, Jody. So it's understanding, guys. So here you're at 30 or 35 or 50 or 70. Doesn't matter if you're 70 when you figure this out or 25 when you figure it out. But what I always say is what I will leave this planet with is not my car or my son or my clients or my money. What I will leave with is my spiritual evolution. So if I leave this planet, even if I figure out when I'm 70 years old and break codependency, that means next lifetime, if you believe in next lifetime, I'm that much further ahead. So I don't care if you've done it for 40 years or 20 years. Congratulate yourself for seeing it because it's massive. I'll say one other thing that's coming in. We also want to understand that this like counselors only got popular in the early 70s. Just if anyone's younger, in the 60s, no one saw a counselor. In the 70s, if you saw a counselor, that was weird. Do you guys remember that? No, Chuck, you probably remember. I remember it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was weird. And nowadays, everybody has a coach. Like, what just happened, right? And so it's understanding that our parents never looked at it because it wasn't the time. Okay. And it's okay if you don't, but if you do, your life will be a zillion times better. Okay. And what they say in the work I do is that when you heal these wounding in ourselves, we heal the wounding in generations before us and generations after us. Even our nieces, our nephew, our cousins, they get healed too by us looking at our stuff. So bravo for each of you being here. You get a pat on your back, like seriously. All right. Brian, do you want to add anything before we keep going, or there's such hand it to you for a sec?
For sure. I mean, something that always I like to bring to awareness as a practice of self-compassion is kind of like what Divi said, that it's like that 0 to 5, or actually let's extend it to 7. Your brain as a child, you're in this state of theta brainwave, and basically that just means you're a sponge. So think of it like a computer. When you're a kid, you're basically taking the environment, and you're like, okay, so what do I do? How does this show run? How do I love? And then after that, we run the program. And then if we don't look at that program for a long time, we keep running it, and then we ask ourselves, what's wrong with me? Why can't I get into a good relationship? Why do I keep doing this to myself? There's something inherently wrong with me. And there's nothing inherently wrong with you. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of us. We're here on earth for a reason. It's no coincidence. Rather, there's an old program running, or there's a part of ourself that we haven't connected to in a very long time. And I love how Divi, made that example of, we're looking forward oftentimes. We're very rarely are we in the present moment, but we're always looking forward because we're trying to get where we think we need to get to, because we're primed to live very externally. But if we don't look behind and realize that there is a version of ourselves that may have needs that aren't met, and we may have this formed idea of like how love works and how we're supposed to show up and what we need to do to be whole, then that program still runs. So that just really helped me a lot when I was doing this work, to realize that there's nothing inherently wrong with me, but it is my responsibility to go back and redo that programming, understand what are the aspects of my childhood where I wasn't given attention or love, or I felt I had to act in this way to be received and loved. And oftentimes when we give that to ourselves and we understand it, not only does it give us that deep sense that we're craving, but then when we come into partnership, we can say, hey, this is something I'm working on, or this is something I've realized, and this is just a need that I have, or whatever it is. So just that offers so much compassion to ourselves when we realize it's not our fault, but we can still work on it.
Thanks, Brian. I think a comment that came in from Brandon, which was bang on. Why is abandonment of self the biggest one? So let's all imagine we go to a park right now and we're watching kids from 0 to 7, like Brian said, in terms of that theta wave thing. What do we teach our kids? Just watch a mother strolling. I did this, strolling your baby down. When my son would smile at me, I'd be like, oh, right? When he laughed, I'd be like, oh, and it was worse than that. I was the crazy mom, okay? And I would get so excited. I was like the most insane mother. I was 35 when I had my kid, so I was like nuts. What am I teaching my kid? I'm teaching him that when I'm happy, he's good. What does he have in his brain, which Brian just said? What program does he have instilled there? Please my mom, please my mom, please my mom, please my mom. Brandon, do you see how we abandon ourselves like that? And it's not a mother's fault. It's not a father's fault. But what I want you to understand is and again, this is sort of a little deeper, our souls choose these. Because I have watched people, not everybody wrote abandon themselves, right? Our souls choose these woundings, which is what Brian was just talking about. Our souls choose them to heal them. So now we're going to go a little bit deeper and actually dig in as to what our pain wound is. Matt, Brian, do you want anything before I go in? Good.
I think that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that.
Cool. So I want you all to close your eyes. Like I said, we're going to jump between meditation, journaling, prompts, back and forth. So close your eyes. Put your hand on your heart and go into the breath work that Brian took us into earlier. Slow, deep breaths. In and out. Inhaling and exhaling. Belly rises and belly falls. Now imagine yourself right now in one of the codependent relationships you just spoke about. Maybe with your partner, maybe when Matt was describing it, you were having bing, bing, bing about your partner, or maybe it's even a coworker or a friend that you're codependent with. Stay in your heart, think of that relationship, and it's the first one that's come to your mind. I want you to be open to seeing the scene of you and this person in that relationship, and see yourself in that codependent pattern. Look at yourself like you're watching a TV screen and ask yourself, what comes out of that person's mouth? What are you saying? How are you acting? Who are you being? And just write it down or type it in the chat box. So again, you're watching the TV screen. You're seeing yourself in this codependent relationship as an adult. What are the words that come out of your mouth? How are you acting? What are you needing from this person? Matt writes, this is just so to help you guys. You need to be better, stronger, smarter. I think that's what you wrote. Sun's coming in. Conciliatory. Nice, Jody. So you've learned how to be conciliatory. I've learned how to be like, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? Even though I've been married for 20 years, right? What else? What else, guys? Type in, what did you see on that TV screen? What were you? What do you say to your partner? Who do you become? Oh, that's a good one, Brennan. You're safe with me. That's such a guy thing. I love that. This is why I'm so glad this is men and women. This is awesome. Oh, that's me too, Selena. Give me attention. I got that one. Why am I not enough? Oh, can I relate to that one? Oh my God. I wished you loved me for who I was and saw my potential. Validation and approval. How can I soothe you? That's a really good one. What else can I do for you? Somebody else is saying, I often sometimes say, why not? Why not? Why won't you give me more? Why won't you give me more? Right? So I'm not enough. That's beautiful. Approval. Beautiful, Terry. So what you're seeing is actually what you're seeing when you saw that screen. Keep going here. Why do you keep doing these things to hurt me? Oh my God, so beautiful. Where can we go from here? Silencing my truth. How did we get here? That's great, Tiana. Wow. What do you want from me? Beautiful. Okay. So guys, this is gorgeous. So you're starting to see. So now stay with me. Your adult self, why I asked you to see what you're seeing, always come from a childhood wound. The repetitive things that comes out of your mouth is always coming from a childhood wound. So those of you who wrote things like, do you like me? Do you like me? Do you like me? You were my son being strollered, okay? Those of you who wrote, I can't speak up, is because you weren't heard when you were little, okay? Those of you who wrote, am I enough? That's very common in men. It's because when you were a little boy, that's who you had to be for your mother. So, and I'm giving you generalities, but right now I'm going to take you into a process to take you back to childhood. And I'm just going to read what longer one said. LDM wrote, I agree with you, even when I don't. I feel like suppressing my emotions. Yes. Normal part of life because everyone did it. I grew up the same way, LDM. I grew up suppressing my emotions. It's like, what do you want? What do you want? So this is just to give you a window. So where we're going to go next is you saw it as an adult over here. And now we're going to use your unconscious memory. You don't have to have any actual conscious memory. And we're going to see if we can go back to childhood and you might actually see where the wounding originated. All right. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take about 10 or 20 slow, deep breaths. With your eyes closed, go back into Brian's belly breathing. Now let's do it together as a group. So exhale completely and inhale for the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep going. Inhaling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On the next breath, imagine the breath coming from the lower part of your spine, all the way up the chakras, holding at the top and then rotating down. Exhale. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold at the crown chakra right at the top of your head for 2. Hold it. And exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release it. Let's do one more round. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it at the top. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keeping your eyes closed, imagine, sense, see, or feel that in this meditation you are surrounded by love. The words I always use in my work is I've invited in your divine support team. And this may not mean anything to you, but my words are, we bring in your guides, your angels, and if that's hocus pocus too, that's perfect. Just bring in the energy of love. That's all you need to do. Right now in this container, each and every one of us are supported by love. And breathe. Some of you are ahead of me, which is awesome. Just keep breathing. Now, using your breath, using this energy of love, asking yourself, where did this wound originate? And if you use your breath and try not to think, you may see a picture, you might sense a memory, you might feel a rush of emotions through your body. There might be some tears. You might not even know specifically, but something is waking up in you as to where this originated. And maybe you already know, and just breathe into that. Maybe you're 3 years old and your dad or mom stopped paying attention to you. Maybe you're 5 years old and your dad was always running out to work. Maybe there's a picture or a sense or a feeling or a knowing. Just be with that and breathe. In and out. Belly rises and belly falls. With your eyes closed, imagine that little boy or girl sitting in front of you. That little boy or girl, and you may not know why that wound is there. You may not know that your mom was busy at work. You may not know that your dad was struggling with money. Because as a 5-year-old, your theta brain is running the story. But right now, I want you to see that wounded child and see right now if you can hold unconditional love for her or him. Maybe this is the first time you've ever done this, or maybe you do this every day. It doesn't matter. Just be present with this younger version of you and breathe. This little version of you, who as an adult asks your partner for more time, or asks your partner for more love. This wound started in childhood. Even if your mind thinks you're making it up, imagine this version of you in front of you and see if you can hold unconditional love from the adult to that younger version. And just continue to breathe in and out. And as you do this, imagine, if you will, more love entering the scene. All of the love from your ancestors, your non-physical guides, even if that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry. Just bring in all of the love from all of the planets into this moment right now. And breathe. Stay here with your eyes closed and just sense how this is feeling. Breathe. This might bring up some emotions. This might be the first time you've ever done this. Right now, you're healing that part of you who wasn't seen, heard, or acknowledged. And that little part of you shows up in those adult relationships. Just keep breathing. Notice if you're getting uncomfortable seeing this part of you, or notice if it is comfortable. Notice if it's hard or if it's easy. There's actually nothing to fix here. It's awareness and love. And the more you heal your subconscious, the more in your adult world, you will be able to heal your adult relationships. A few more breaths. Some of you may want to stay here longer in meditation. I can feel it. Some of you are feeling ready to come out. When you are ready to come out, start to roll your shoulders, be gentle with yourself, slowly open your eyes, grab a sip of water if you want, and start to come back. Just breathe. Keep breathing. So I'm going to hear from you guys in just a few minutes. I want to know how that was, but not yet. Not yet. For the next few minutes, I want you all to just keep your visuals on Matt and Brian and I. One of the hardest, and I'll tell you why in a second. One of the hardest things is for us to hold love. For me, it's my 3-year-old, but I have lots of little 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds. But it's like my 3-year-old is the most like activated. And one of the reasons we've created this container for 16 weeks with a woman and 2 men is because one of my wounding is from my mom and my dad. So being with a female and a male, safe energy, helps me to heal that wounding from my pain. Does that make sense to you guys? My coach is female, and I'm working with these 2 men that are helping me on my masculine. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? So in a minute, what I'm going to ask you to do is I want you to look at Brian and Matt and I, and we're actually going to be transmitting love to you and your little child. And just be present with us. There's not going to be any words. I don't know how long this is going to take, but just be present and see if you can sit back, relax your shoulders, and let us love you and that little boy or girl as you just sit, because it can be really lonely to do this. And just breathe, guys. Keep breathing. Trust us. Even if you don't think anything's happening, something's happening. Beautiful. Keep breathing. As I talk, these 2 are going to keep transmitting love. So I want you to keep receiving love from them as I talk. I'm still transmitting love too. But one of the reasons we're doing this, we want you to understand, is they often say the mind cannot heal the mind. Only the heart can heal the mind. And if my little girl is quite wounded, my 3-year-old, as all of ours are, and I can only heal my little 3-year-old so much, but my coach helps me, these men help me, my friends help me. So when they hold unconditional love for me, I hold that for my girls, my little girl. That's a big, not the only part, it's a big part of the 16 weeks that we're going to be together. So it's never a one-off. Does that make sense? It's a process. It's a process. Oh, thank you, Xenia. I was sending you so much love. I love it. Xenia wrote, she's bawling her eyes out. Yes, I'm joking. I'm totally joking. So, Brian, Matt, do you want to add something? Before we open up for Q&A, what do I leave out? Guys, and we want to hear from you guys. You want to add, Brian?
I was just going to say that's very beautiful. And yeah, what's coming through to me is, once we make that connection to this part of ourself, I always like to remind that this is always there. It's always there. We never lose this connection, and it is a place we can often go to. And in life we often see things as very static. Oh, I've learned this thing and now I know that. Rather, it's this constant ebbing and flowing. So we have this opportunity to continue to go to this place, to continue to connect to it, and also to realize that there's that part, it wants to be seen and nourished and taken care of. So you can even consider this like a form of reparenting. Can we become the parents that we so wish that we had, or the love that we had? And like Divi was saying, that ancestral healing occurs through that, because that changes our mind through the love, the vibration, the alchemical process of our heart. And then inevitably that will change our DNA. That'll change the way that we act and we behave, and the way that we show up in our environment, and that will change the way that we express ourselves. So sometimes it can be maybe a bit difficult. Like, what's the point of going to this place? It doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's no words there. Sometimes it's just this wave of emotion. Maybe put your hands up. For me, it's like these places have no words. It's very ambiguous and very, messy. But when we start to attune ourselves to that language of the body, of the heart, we start to really understand that we don't need to always intellectualize, like give meaning or a word to the sensation. Rather, we were present with it. And like Divi said, that presence is love. Your attention is enough. Your attention is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give to anything, and yourself. And in like the Tao, for example, they say that attention is nurturing. Attention is just witnessing, and it will it will change the process over time. So that's just what came through. Thank you.
So beautiful. Because guys, this is how it works. Our egos don't want us to heal it. Our egos are very happy in the abandonment conversation. My ego loves to tell the story about how my husband did it wrong. Oh my God, the ego loves that story. Right? He doesn't love me enough, right? Blah, blah, blah. But me saying that to him is me projecting my wounding onto him. And one of the reasons we created this container with the three of us, first off, for three, I'm not going to swear, powerful, put in your swear word. And I'm teasing, but also we all believe that the energy is the most important thing. And we all bring three really different things here. So what I love about hanging out with these two, which I've hung out with them since I met them in Mexico back in October, November of last year, is they bring such presence of the masculine that's safe. And I'm blessed because I have a husband like that, but not that many men, to me, in my world, besides my clients, are like that. So it's just understanding that the ego is going to say, no. But the soul, if you actually showed up, registered, and or showed up live, and are watching the recording, there's a part of you that wants this. And as somebody I've been in this work for over 20 years of some sort of self-development, 25 years, and teaching this work for 12. And I'll be completely straight with you. I could do the same process. I taught a shadow class right before this class. I can sit through a class. You're always learning, which is what Brian said. You're always learning. It's never like, tick, done, next, right? It's always, always, always healing. I'm going to read some of these messages. Thank you for the beautiful messages that came in. And we'll open up for Q&A. Anything else either you want to add before I address some of these things? And Matt, Brian?
I just want to say one thing, and this is going to be to everyone to receive, is I love you.
You cry. Thanks, Matt. These things are an appendage from this year. Funny. Okay, Xenia wrote, I'm bawling my eyes out because I want to open up Q&A. I want to address these for people watching the recording. I'm bawling my eyes out, thank you. Mara wrote, full crying mode. Ugly crying, no such thing. That's why I'm not on my video. This is powerful. Betty writes, that was powerful. Thank you so much, Divi. Oh, that's tears are pouring, yes. LDM wrote, the child is afraid. I know. She doesn't want to, they don't want to fully accept the love, the compassion, because it fears being betrayed. Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. I feel like I'm going to cry with you. I felt exactly the same way before I hired my coach about 13 years ago. She was the first person in my life, which is why I do the work I do, who showed me an unconditional love that helped my little girl heal, which is actually why I coach, because she helped me and now I help others. And it's like this kind of baton of hand over. So thank you for sharing that, because that's the ego saying that kid's afraid I can't heal her. And that's what we're here for. That's what the 4 months is for. It's to help. It's to help. What else did you guys write? I felt that in the exercise. Nice. Brandon wrote that was that point about ego. I know, powerful. That my mind kept telling me that I was good. I don't need healing. Yeah, I do that all the time. All lies. I'm with you. That's why I teach this work. Brandon is purely selfish. Seriously, dude. Seriously. The ripple effect of love. You got it, babe. Anything else before we open to Q&A, guys? And do breath work at the end? Is that what we said? I can't remember. I don't have the agenda.
I'll close this off with a little bit of breathing, a little bit of integration.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and then Q&A after that?
Oh, we can do the Q&A. Maybe we'll wrap that up with let's do Q&A now. I think we're
Q&A now? Okay. Yeah. So we're going to do Q&A. Do you want me to change screens or just keep it like this and we can just hear them? Is that cool? Okay, cool. So guys, feel free to unmute yourself, type in your questions, and there's no question that's off limit. None. And you got 3 people here who are and I want to share, and as you guys are coming for their questions, feel free to unmute. I'll keep talking because I'm really good at talking. Anyone else want to share? I know. Any questions, comments? What came up for you guys?
I always like to say too, sharing is like very potent in a group container, because we're all sharing this right now, and when you share your perspective, it's another piece of the sphere. Like, you can't see a whole sphere, from one direction. You have to look at it from different points of view. So every one of you has a unique point of view from this co-creation. And when you share that, it helps other people to understand and maybe gain more insight. So realize that your sharing your question is actually a gift.
Anything from anybody?
I can share, but you might hear my son in the back.
That's beautiful, Xenia. I love your voice. We're good for it.
Thank you. So essentially what kept coming in for me is that I left the codependent relationship, but I stayed in the relationship because we have a son together. And it was interesting how I was checking, like what Matt was saying, I was checking off some marks. Okay, this is like, okay, full 10 what it was before. It's not a complete list of what a healthy relationship should look like, but it's still a relationship. It's still a dynamic, right? But okay, I noted that the progress was being made during the 2 years, maybe like a little less that I was doing this work. I've been doing this work. And I guess my question is, I know that I'm in this specifically for healing, but any advice when it's kind of, I feel in some ways that I'm in the middle. It is a relationship, but it's not. It's like, but it's just the dynamic that I'm in, and I'm here for like quite a few years still. And yeah, any advice probably on this? Thank you.
Are you like staying in the relationship because of your child?
No, we're getting divorced and almost like done the papers. So we
Okay.
just co-parent. We just co-parent. Yeah. So like, that's what I meant. I know, but I left this relationship almost 2 years ago now.
Okay, so the question is about staying within the context of this like co-parenting relationship. Is that
Yes, because I can't escape it, and
Yeah.
it's half healthy, half not.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, how do I navigate that? Because I'm making progress, but like in a regular toxic relationship, leaving is not an option. So my only option is just turning it into something healthy, which I've been doing. I've been seeing the progress. But yeah, just basically, I don't know what my question is, but just wanted to share that this is where I am at, and that sometimes you find yourself in this kind of a situation.
Yep.
And I almost at the point, but it doesn't completely suck because I see the benefits for my own personal growth.
Yeah. What's coming through for me is in these types of realities, which are quite common now, is communication, right? The top of the list for a symbiotic relationship: communicate, communicate, communicate. You two brought a life into this world together, and no doubt you both care about that life. And so you can make that the center of the communication. You can bring forward, if you notice these toxic habits or behaviors coming up, and then instead of going to this person who you've had a bit of a falling out with and making it about you, you can make it about your child. And you can center all of the, oh look, we're exhibiting these toxic patterns, and we don't want our child to grow up with these toxic traumas and repeat what we're doing. And we can bring that to the center and the forefront of the communication. And probably by maybe showing them this list of things that you wrote out that you learned today, and deepening the shared brain space is what I call it, when you know the same things and you're able to think in the same type of a way. But that would be my response to that. Make it about raising your kid together in a positive manner, and communicate.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. Francis,
Got it.
Zenny, what I'm getting is keep going. I'm getting exactly what Matt was getting. Just keep going. You're doing great.
Okay.
Okay, let's grab some. Thanks, Henny. I'm gonna grab some of these other questions. I think LDM, they were more comments, so thank you. Question from Megan came in, and please correct me if I'm wrong. Megan wrote, one thing I was asked before doing ayahuasca was about a love relationship was, what do you want? Exactly. And asking yourself, what do you want? I think that's more of a comment. I'm not sure. Let me know if I got that wrong. Chantel asked a question. How can I improve my approach? That's a great question. In all honesty, I was terrified during the healing. I found myself holding back, and I don't understand why or how. Chantel, are you here, and can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Am I pronouncing your name right?
You are, yes, thank you.
Do you want me to go, or do you guys want to go? Okay, I'll
Go
just tell you
for
what I'm
it.
getting. I'll just jump in.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good at just jumping in. What I'm getting, Chantal, is they're telling me that they're saying love wasn't safe, and she doesn't have. It's not that you don't have a good definition of love, but when love, my legs are shaking, just so you know. And I don't know if you know, but I work as an intuitive, so I see, sense, feel energy. But my feet are literally trembling right now, and it feels like there was a lack of that safe love, and the only way to receive that healing is by putting yourself in it. They're showing me a picture like a swimming pool. It's like I can't swim, so just keep getting in. That makes sense, Chantal?
Yeah.
And oh, they just said, I'm seeing it like, first I saw it like a metal wall. Now I'm seeing it more like a thinner metal wall. It wants to come down. They're saying, ask her, you want to talk to it and say, I want you to do this on your own. And maybe before this next class in 2 weeks, ask that, because I see a wall right here, huh? And it's in front of your chest, okay? And that's why you couldn't feel the healing, or it was hard to receive the healing. I want you to talk to it, maybe by journal prompts, and ask it. So I want you to go, Chantal speaking, why are you here? And then wall says, because I need to protect you. And then just keep going back and forth. Chantal says, what are you here to protect me from? The wall says, from being hurt. And just keep going back and forth and see what you get. Does that track a bit?
Yeah. I really didn't know where to start. Like, I would try and be present for that little person of myself, and then I would feel terrified, and I would stop and I would think about something else.
Totally.
And then try and get back to what you're telling me, and then I would do it again, like just like think about something else. Like, something was just stopping me from really emerging into this. And a lot of it, like, I can identify that I felt fear, but like I just don't know why, because I know I'm in a safe place.
Love wasn't safe as a child. And so the ego is trying to protect you, and the ego is beep, beep, beep. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, Divi. So it's funny because I was going to say this earlier. I love working with you, Divi. It's so funny. The ego's job is two things: keep you safe and keep you the same. So we're going to look at that second part there. Same, keeping you the same. And so I see this all the time in the work that I do, where your ego knows that if you were to receive that love, if you were to receive that, it's going to be different. It's going to change. And so the ego's like, no, I got to put up this thin metal wall to block that from coming out. And so it's a matter of, like Divi said, is having this conversation with the ego, because realistically, ego gets a really bad rap. It wants to keep you this safe and the same. If a loved one wanted to keep you safe and the same, you'd thank that person. You would love that. Oh my God, this person loves me for who I am. They want to keep me safe. That's what the ego does. So it's a matter of approaching the ego with this type of a conversation where it's like, I appreciate that you want to keep me safe and the same, but you're a little bit misguided right now because I actually want to evolve and I actually want to change. And the journal prompts is this is coming through for me. The journal prompts that Divi gave you is going to it's going to be tough because your ego knows it's going to be tough because your ego knows that it's going to cause the change. So yeah, it's a matter of doing that. Yeah, thank you.
And,
Thank you.
and during the 16 weeks, Chantal, that's something that we're really going to be emphasizing, because we don't expect, I give you so much credit for showing up live, but it's like weird, right? One of my clients who I messaged privately, because I kept getting the ping to talk to her privately, so I won't tell you who because it's private. And she messaged me, and I said to her, hey, are you okay? Got a message, I got it sent to message her, and she said, when Matt said, I love you, she felt it. And so it's like understanding that, Chantal, it's give us time, give us space, but until your brain goes, that's safe, that wall, the ego's going to go, nope, got it. And that's what I did for years with my coach. It's like, nope, I'm good. Right. So yeah, that's what the 16 weeks is about. So I'm glad you experienced it. I'm so excited.
So
Thank
we have Sarah had her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Megan hit enter a little quick, so she wants to ask something as well. So
I can
yeah,
just go off.
yeah. So let's start with Sarah. Sarah, you had your hand up a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh.
We saw you.
First of all, this has been wonderful. I set my intention to be open and to be receptive. I have a tendency with fear to block myself, and been
Okay.
really trying to work on those blocks and that fear, and being able to receive, what messages are intended for me. And I feel like I'm doing that with this, so I'm really grateful about that. I felt the love when Matt said, I love you. I normally cannot receive that from people. So, I mean, it really hit me. In fact, it was like I just kind of suddenly burst into tears. So, that surprised me. But the meditation that Divi led us on, a number of things popped up in my mind from my childhood, and what I realized was that that one on the list about abandonment of self. I mean, I was trained from the get-go, just you know and I'd never really seen it that clearly before, but it was like, as long as I was doing the dog and pony show that my dad needed from me, and I got attention and love, or if I was being the proper girl that my mother needed me to be, I would get love and attention. But if I was just me, I didn't exist. And and I saw I was 3 when my younger sister was born, and she's the baby of the family, and my position changed drastically. And I think that might be where my wound started. I really do. It was like all of a sudden, I was I was old news. So, which seems kind of silly now as an adult, but anyway, I have a very difficult situation with my son's father, who has been very abusive. Um, I mean, it's to the point that we've been to court repeatedly with custody issues, and the court has ordered that we use just our family wizard to communicate and have no other communication, because it gets so just convoluted. And try as I might to keep things focused on my son, it turns into just a very triggering abuse from him towards me. Um, and I'm trying, and I've been trying for years to heal myself and to work on these issues. I'm terrified for my son's welfare. And I've got a narcissist who refuses to communicate with me. And so I can't, he won't use the app. He won't respond to anything. Um, and so I'm left in the dark, and my hands are always tied. And, it just keeps me in this state of anxiety, and I keep trying to, release that, but it's just a constant
Yeah.
thing. So I don't know how to deal with that now, to navigate that.
Can I tell you what they're saying? I love you. They want you to keep seeing a picture of a wizard.
Yeah.
You're a wizard. You're a wizard. You can change this water into lemonade. You're a wizard. Okay. They're asking, and I'm just going to give you one part of the answer, but over the 16 weeks, we can help you in layers. Okay. But the first thing they want you to do, and I know I'm not going off topic, but it's a technique that we'll teach in the 16 weeks. This is going to sound so weird, but in my world, I can change how my partner shows up if I see him a certain way. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
so I've trained my
forgiveness.
And so I want you to go a bit deeper. I've trained I always see what my partner does for me. He made me dinner tonight. He knows working till 7:30. There's like a big ass dinner waiting for me at home, right? But that's because I've trained to see all the things he does for me. And I talk about it. I'm like, thank you, right? For doing this, for doing that. So he didn't before, just so you know. That was my wizardly. Got it? So I need you, what they're showing me psychically, I need you to train your third eye, and I need you to see him for all the good things. I don't know if you speak French, but I heard the words fermer la bouche. That means close your mouth. It's the only 3 words I know from French. Okay. Close your mouth. And it's like, stop talking about what he is right now and talk about the things that you do see that are perfect about him, and write it as a book of positive aspects, 2 or 3 things every day. Because you're stuck. You're in this relationship. You got a kid together, but you can't do anything on the physical level. You got to work on the energetic level. Yeah. And I can see, based on how powerful you are, if you do this for 2 or 3 weeks, Fermer la bouche, book of positive aspects, 3 things every day, he will start to show you microscopic changes. If you ask anyone, if you talk to Xenia, who was on here earlier, she did that. That was one of the first techniques I taught her way back in the day when I met her a couple years ago. Okay. I said, she's not allowed to talk about the negative stuff about her partner. That's not about ignoring it, but it's about changing the physical, because she was stuck with her husband at the time with a kid, same situation. Got it? There was quarters, all kind of crazy stuff. Got it? So what she did was she did exactly what I'm telling you to do, 3 things positive every day, even the same 3 things.
Yeah, I thank you. I will do that because you know, there's been so many things that he's done very vindictively,
Right.
purposefully, intentionally to harm me, to, you know, cut off my access to my son,
Totally.
and so on and so forth. That, you know, I'm constantly in this defensive posture of waiting for the
Totally.
next volley, you
Totally.
know? Yeah.
And so you don't trust love. So during the 4 months,
Not
we'll
at
teach you
all.
how to do that because it's going to take rewiring. And it's funny because I said that I didn't realize Xenia wrote in, Sarah, that was my situation 1.5 years ago, which is about when I met her, 1.5 to 2 years ago.
I
And she's
see.
changed the
Yes.
physical by doing the energetic.
Okay.
That makes sense. I'm so
It
excited.
works. It works, and it works miracles. Honestly, like I would not have believed like 1.5 years ago. Like I thought I was gonna die. It was so bad. It was crazy bad. It was just whoa. Now it's manageable and at times pleasant. Yeah. So,
I can't
and it
even
keeps
imagine
improving.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Oh,
Sarah. Love
thank
that.
you so
Thanks,
much,
honey.
everybody.
Matt, your choice.
Okay, so we have a couple more questions here. We'll try to keep them short. We'll aim to do 3 more, and if we don't get to all of them, then you can reach out to us for sure. So yeah, try to be brief. First, we've got Megan, and then we'll go to Brandon, and then we'll go to I believe it's pronounced Nisa, and then
And
we'll
be back in 2 weeks anyways. Sorry,
be
Brandon.
back in 2 weeks. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
be back in 2 weeks. So yeah, Megan. I'd love to.
Yes.
There you are.
So I've been in therapy for like 9 years, unlearning all childhood things. But I recently did ayahuasca, and the people that did the ayahuasca, they really put you through the ringer prior to the ceremony. So I was on a 1-hour Zoom call with him, and he asked me about my love relationship, and I was like, well, it's kind of non-existent right now, but like I'm open to it. And he's like, well, what do you want in a relationship? And I was like, I just want someone to love me for all of me, all of my parts. And he's like, but do you show all of those parts? And I was like, and I nearly fell off my couch. I was like, how dare you? But not like in a sarcastic way. And I was like, holy shit. It really opened my eyes to be like, you're not showing those parts of you that you feel shame about. So post ayahuasca, I actually got really sick, lost my voice. I think ayahuasca wanted me to integrate on my own. And it made me really go deeper within myself and love those little parts that I'm scared to share, and made me get real honest with myself about them, to the point where now I'm openly talking about them and don't feel the shame anymore. So it's yeah.
Amazing.
But that was like a big question. I was like, holy shit. It was a real eye opener for me. And I'm so thankful that like I went into ayahuasca with that intention, because then I had a full-blown meltdown for 20 minutes and then, you know, came out of it and turned into a white owl 50 feet in the air. And I was like, whoa.
Thank you for sharing that. That's yeah, super powerful, and like what Divi was alluding to with the like asking ourselves those types of questions. And I think that's like serious takeaway for me is what you just said, Megan, is like you want to be loved for all of you, but then you're not even showing the parts that you want to be loved for, and then you have shame around those parts, and then we start playing the shame game again. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Megan. Awesome. And yeah, Brandon.
Hey, sorry, Paul. Yeah, I guess like 2 points. I'll try and hold my shit together on this, but one is just like this container that everybody's in right now. It's interesting, and I'm just going to speak from my brain or whatever. But when I got on the call and I saw, you know, just happened to be scrolling through the participants, and you know, I'm 30 years old. I'm young, or whatever you want to call it, and I guess like as I go through this journey, I've felt like the hurdles I'm going through are young people's problem, and I don't know how else to word that other than that. And so it was just really incredible, Sarah. Like your share there brought me to tears, and I'm like, holy shit! Like everybody's going through something, And I think just like, so, you know, Bay and I were talking, Bay is like, oh, like, you know, I love the way you're reacting to different things that people are saying. And I'm like, no, like I need that more than they even realize how much their shares are impacting themselves, and just being open about what they're going through. Like, I need that as much as you guys are sharing and need that for yourself. So I just wanted to touch on that as a thank you, I guess, to everybody in the container. And then interesting enough, Divi, when you were walking through that scenario, how do I word this properly? I guess it's interesting. I go to a very positive memory that I have of being surrounded by family, and that's something I keep comparing my current relationship to, and how it's not that. And I guess I'm wondering, like, I didn't go into a negative place. I went into like a very like positive memory that I keep going back to, and I'm wondering, like, it's not negative. Whereas I visualize like everything you were saying. I'm like, oh, she's referring to something negative. You're in this happy place in this living room with the wood stove going, and grandma's in the kitchen, and da-da-da. And I thought that was interesting that my brain went towards something positive and comparing that to what I'm dealing with now. And I'm just curious if there's something to that, or if I'm missing something, or I don't think I am. I'm going to let myself just live it, but it's interesting.
Can I go a bit deeper?
Yeah,
okay.
hit me.
So guys, are you okay if we go about 5 minutes early? Over? You okay with that? So Brandon, can you just, this is for me, can you explain a little bit more about this current situation that you're trying to find the root of? Because that's the issue, right? Just describe the emotions in the current situation.
Yeah, I guess I've been with somebody for 15 years.
Okay.
And it's very sorry.
That's okay.
I would say it's nearing its end in a way.
Okay.
So I'm trying to navigate that. Yeah, I guess that's the reality of it.
And it's nearing its end because what?
I think there's way more to life than the situation I'm in, as the relationship stands.
Right. Do you feel claustrophobic in the relationship you're in right now?
Completely.
Okay. So take a breath, breathe with me. What if, like Brian talked about the theta waves, right? 0 to 7. That beautiful pitch you described with your grandmother stirring the stew or whatever in the wood fireplace. Could you have felt a bit, I'm getting tears right now. Could you have felt a bit claustrophobic then? As a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, like not as the adult.
No, I would say more so felt safe. It just felt like everything was right. It was like everybody was there that needed to be there. Okay. And everybody cared about everybody who was around, I guess.
Okay, let's go a little bit deeper. So for some reason, the relationship you're in is not giving you what you want. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So is it, okay. What your guys are saying to me is it's not that you idolize love in that grandmother scenario, but you know there's more. What's really important to figure out, though, and we'll do this stuff in the 16 weeks. They're telling me, they're tapping my forehead. We got to not figure out, but figure out what in you manifested this current partner who's amazing. I keep seeing them as amazing. But what in you manifested this because you want more. Is that fair to say what I just said?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And it's fair that your psyche didn't take you there, which is perfect. But what the psyche did take you to is what you want.
100%.
So what they're showing me is, what we will have to figure out during the 16 weeks is, they're giving me a few swear words, so you must swear. WTF did he do in his energy body that then manifested in this woman? So I don't know if you swear, but I keep hearing swear words. So, which I won't swear on, share on the screen.
All the fucking time.
I wasn't swearing. But that's, oh, I feel it in your heart and I'm sweating right now. But that's what will help you dig in with over those 4 months, because I keep seeing you don't know, but that's one thing we'll help you with. Does that make any sense, what I just said?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it's I know I'm on a journey. I know it's not going to come to me immediately, and I think that's kind of just the roller coaster. I'm buckling up and ready to ride, I guess, so to speak. That's where my brain goes. Yeah. Buckle up and just ride through whatever.
Totally. Totally. And we'll help you unbuckle and figure out what that energy was. Makes sense, though. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate you so much. And one more, and then we'll have a closing statement and Brian's breath work to wrap up our container. Nisa.
Hi. Okay, so my last ex is the first time I've broken the pattern of going back and forth and back and forth with other exes. So I'm really proud of myself for that. But for some reason, like, even though I've done, you know, I think rituals for like breaking cords and all that stuff, every time I think seriously about getting into the next relationship, he keeps popping back into my head. And I don't know if it's my ego or if it's a cord or if it's a soul contract or something. And he also showed up in my last ayahuasca ceremony. So I'm all confused. Would like some guidance.
You want to grab that, Matt? Or Brian?
I could, I'll
Yeah, go
briefly
for it.
jump in. So I just want to make sure I completely understand. You said there's that despite all the work to detach yourself from this previous partner, it just keeps coming up and keeps coming up.
Yeah.
Like the urge to reconnect or establish a connection. Yeah.
No, I think logically, I'm like, I have to, when he pops up, I'm like, no, these are all the things that didn't work, and I won't reconnect. But I'm just wondering, like, why does it keep coming up, and how can I move forward if that keeps happening? So I'm just wondering if there's energetically something that I need help removing.
When you form this relationship, what did he represent to you? What did he mean? Because usually when we get together with someone, they will satisfy something like, you know, maybe a role of a parent, but what did this person mean to you outside of a partner?
What did it mean to me? I mean, I will say that I'm pretty certain it was a soul connection, but I've had I've had that before. But he was such a switch in the type of partner that I had in the past. So I don't know how to, I don't know. There was that moment before his anxiety took over and the pandemic and all that. Like, he became Jekyll and Hyde, but so I really still, I still think fondly of him. I don't have any bad wishes or anything. So that part of him I thought was amazing. It was the post-pandemic, like, anxious version that I was like.
And
Go ahead. Can I just ask something? And Brandon, I sent you a note. Can I just add, sorry. So what I'm getting is it's a past, you're right, it's a past life connection. And they're showing me it's like a trampoline. He was meant to be your buffer or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Bouncing where it's okay, I'm good here, but not your forever. Got it? So it's cutting the cords, wishing him well, and thanking that contract for what it was. Sorry, Brian. Have to say, because sometimes what happens is why I had to message Brandon. It'll keep coming in until I say it, or else I'll be messaging you at 3 a.m. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, no, that's absolutely perfect. I was just going to investigate more as to, like, so there's that initial version and then the version that he became, and what kind of work has been done around that person and the connection with that maybe traumatizing kind of interaction.
Yeah, and I would just I would like to add just one thing to this, because I see this a lot with my clients with relationships. Is they'll usually when they're keep going back to that, is it's the representation of, like, say you have an ideal mate and they tick off boxes. Well, he ticked off some boxes that are really important to you. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you probably ignored. And then maybe certain things happened that really exposed it. And so you keep going back because he's the representation of those probably critical boxes that were ticked that none of your other examples of love ticked. Not your parents, not other mates that you've had. And so those are like needs. And so what I would do in like a real, like, as above, so below, real below science approach is like find those characteristics that set him apart, and then just recognize that those are like needs for your future partner. So that's perfect. So thank you everyone so much. Thank you, Nisa. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you everybody for contributing, and everyone for bearing witness to everybody being vulnerable and communicating. There's something that's called the observer effect. It's a really, really really powerful thing to be observed and to be witnessed with everybody here. So this was a co-creation with all of us. I just want to extend a few closing statements, and then we'll pass it to Brian and we do some breath work and wrap up the container. So Divi, Brian and I were hosting this love, trust, trauma container. It's starting out as 4 months, and then it's going to continue monthly after that. The first 15 people that sign up to the Love, Trust, Trauma container are going to be assigned a personal one-on-one meeting with one of us. That's our like extension of thanks for being an early adopter to our program. And so we just want to extend that offer to everybody. Yeah, so the first 15 people will get a one-on-one client session with myself, with Divi, or with Brian. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, Brian, take us away.
I'll just kind of add something to that really briefly.
Thank you, Divi. Yeah, thank you.
The website's not quite ready for clicking to join yet. So I'll send you guys an email tomorrow or the next day, but probably tomorrow, with a link if you want to join us. And just to give you a price point, because I've gotten some emails for price points, we've made it pretty reasonable. It's $200 for a month, $700 for 4. Did I get that right? Mm-hmm. And so it's pretty Canadian. So that's even better. But there was one other thing I kept hearing. Oh yeah, for them to understand. So there'll be weekly calls and then bi-weekly coaching. Is that what we're doing? So you know how we were coaching Nisa and Brandon and Sarah? We'll be doing those coaching calls, like we'll be teaching the classes plus the coaching calls. Like, so you get 6 classes a month. My math isn't happening today. So if that makes sense. So it's in depth, but it's going to be fun. So go ahead, Brian. I'll shut up.
Oh no, that's perfect. Yeah, it's going to, maybe I'll add a bit more. It's going to be really awesome. And there's so many things that we just can't even cover in all these webinars. Like I'll go through somatic techniques. We'll do some longer breathwork sessions. I might even offer movement. It'll be every aspect of relationship to self, relationship to family, relationship to romantic partner. And we're always relating with life. So would love to have you all in there. But without further ado, let's close with some breathing. I love breathing. And we'll go into like just a little bit of breath and a gratitude practice to thank that part that we connected to remind ourselves that it's safe to connect to that part. So just close your eyes like you did before. Just going to find some nice music here. And while I do that, as you close your eyes, try your best to bring yourself back into that state that Divi brought you to, that place in the body. Just a connection that feels reminiscent, that feels safe. You don't have to try too hard here. Remember, your body has a blueprint for this type of connection, this type of relaxing. And you've already been there before. And then just start to deepen your breath a little bit. So bringing the breath down into the belly. Noticing how the breath starts to anchor, meaning your awareness starts to come down into the root. Maybe letting go of a bit of sighs, just to shake off any energy that might be remaining. And I'm going to guide you through a bit of 4 count in, 4 count out. And for this, I invite you to just give yourself attention, letting go of the intention. The intention requires energy. It's like a fire. It gets things going. The attention is like water. It's yin. It's nourishing. So all you have to do is give yourself attention through this breath, because attention is love. Attention is all we need. I invite you to take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, relax. And here we go together. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. In. Out. In, out, in, out, 2, 3. And just keep that rhythm of breath going now. You kind of know the cadence, let it come about naturally. Just allow the gentle sound of this music to fill your being. Allow the simplicity of your breathing to bring you into this moment. And come into deep understanding that your body is able to integrate this information without any work of the mind. Whatever you felt, whatever you experienced, the body can take in that energy, that information, that frequency, and have that faith that your body knows exactly what to do with that, to make the changes happen, to bring yourself into a higher state of awareness, of love, of recognition, healing. And with every breath, just feel as though you're adding more of that faith, that energy, that possibility into this integration, into this closing. Remembering that this is a process of remembering. You have the tools to do this. You already know. And you're just coming into recognizing that once again. And as you continue to breathe, just offering a bit of gratitude to yourself in this present moment, your willingness to just show up and do this work, and feeling a deep sense of love, recognition for that part of you that you connected with or that you tried to connect with, whatever happened in this session. It's not the outcome we seek, but rather it's the showing up, celebrating yourself, thanking yourself deeply for showing up, for being here. Amazing. If it feels nice for you, if it feels authentic, I invite you to just place your hands on your heart and then another hand just below your belly button, over the heart, over the sacral. I just want to thank you all. Thank you for showing up with your presence, your smiles, your tears, your willingness, just being human with us in this experience. Wishing you all a beautiful rest of your evening, if it's evening for you or whatever time it is. And we're very much looking forward to seeing you next week, hopefully seeing you all next week. Much love. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Big love, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks, Brian. It's beautiful.
Thank you guys. That was amazing.
Much love, much love. Alrighty, this recording
Yeah.
will be saved on your computer, right?
Yeah, I'll save it and I'll send it out. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Do you guys want to stick around for a debrief? Are you all good?
I'm good. Could we just WhatsApp